I only have 30 days until I launch my dream small business. And to be honest, I'm absolutely terrified. I'm really nervous and anxious about it, but also really excited. This is something that I've been looking forward to and thinking about for so long. And it's just something that I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to start the business and see what happens. And I've been planning it in the background. I've been thinking about it, making notes, watching videos. It was only when I had my surgery back in October and I had 2 weeks off of work where I sat down and thought, I can't really do much at the moment. I've got 2 weeks off. I can't really move anywhere. And I started to fully plan my business. I used my iPad and I just sat on the sofa and I planned everything. I did the business roadmap. I had my friend help me with all the logos and marketing and all the brand assets. And I put them all together and I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to announce that I'm going to start a business, right? There's no better way to really get committed to something until you put it out there for the world to see. And now I have that date, 10th of January. Right now, it is the 10th of December. As you can tell, because it's quite dark and dreary and it's only 4 p.m, but all the light has gone in the UK. But I only have 30 days now and I need to get a move on. Hi, welcome back and welcome if you're new here. My name is Zoe and I own a small business called Resewn Textiles, which is officially launching on the 10th of January in 30 days. See, I have a lot to do, I have a lot to prep. I actually work full time as well, so I haven't got all the time in the world to start working on this and planning on it. I think when I had my surgery and had all that time off for 2 weeks, I was very ambitious. What was that? October, November, December, January. Yeah, 3 months. I was like, I'll give myself 3 months. That's plenty of time. And I don't know where the last 2 months have gone. It's been a bit of a blur. I've used the time to set up my social media presence and try and get myself out there, try and get people to see me and know me. Because the worst thing to happen would be to launch my business and then nobody really know, right? I don't want to be launching into the ether. I want to be launching and people be excited for it and like waiting for it and wanting it to happen. Obviously that's really difficult when you are just one person and you're trying to launch something on the internet, on social media, where it's so hard when you're a new account and a new business to get seen by people. And I appreciate that, I understand that. And I have been really focusing the last 2 months on my social media presence and my online presence. And I decided to start with quite a few platforms. Maybe I was a bit ambitious in the number of platforms I wanted to start with, but I decided my focus initially would be on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Mainly because I've seen the success that people have had with their small businesses on YouTube, and it's a really good place to reach people, grow that community, and to showcase longer videos. And a lot of the stuff that I do requires that bit of extra talking, and I really want to connect with people and show what I'm doing. Whereas Instagram and TikTok reels are very much like 15 to 30 seconds, boom, boom, boom. And like, yeah, it's really nice as like a summary and a showcase. But I wanted that place to be able to show me and my process and the things that I do. And I think so far it's been a bit of a learning curve. I'm not the best at editing videos, so apologies if that comes across. I had to learn from scratch how to edit these videos, what the best tools to use for that. And this is all research I was doing before I decided to launch and while I was recovering from surgery. So I did a lot of research into this kind of tools that I would need and equipment. I went out and bought my first little like microphone so you can hear me well. I got like a little light in the background so hopefully I don't look so dark in the winter. I am using my phone to record at the moment. My dream would be to get a proper camera or one of those like pocket cameras that you can use. But Christmas is coming up and my birthday, so I have put that on my Christmas list, so you never know. I think a lot of planning and prep has been going into the business so far, and at the moment it's been a lot of content creation, a lot of creating reels, carousels, YouTube videos, and I've only got 30 days until I open a shop. I don't have any items to put in the shop. So that's what I need to focus on next. Maybe in a few years I'll come back and rewatch this video and look at myself and laugh, because at the moment I only have like less than 100 followers, less than 100 subscribers on YouTube, only like 25 followers on TikTok. It's not the biggest following, but it's still enough, right? My videos are being seen by, even if it gets seen by one person, like that's good, that's an achievement, right? My worry is when I launch this shop in 30 days, that nobody will buy anything. I'm trying to draw the hype and get people interested, and I've had a few pre-orders from friends and family. I've had friends asking for orders, like I had a friend ask for a personalised hoop cover, I had another ask me to make her a bag, I've made something for my sister, and I've had a couple of friends ask for alterations. I decided to do those pre-orders with my friends so that I had some content to film, and then I can show the kind of things that I want to be doing, so that when I've officially launched, people who don't know me can get a sense of who I am and what I do. So that's worked really well for me. But I think my fear is that when I launch in January, it's still just going to be friends and family that are ordering from me. At the moment, I have a waitlist open, but only friends and family have signed up to the waitlist. I don't think I should be surprised, just because my website, I have tried to explain a little bit about what I do, but I haven't got any products to put on the shop, so there's no pictures to showcase the items you could buy, so there's no incentive to sign up to the waitlist. Yes, there's 10% off if you sign up, and you get a free gift with your first order if you're one of the first 50. But I think for newer people, it's not worth signing up to, because they're not sure what they're signing up to, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the next 30 days of showcasing what is it I actually do, what do I offer, what problems can I solve for people. And I have put up some videos of some stuff that I've started to sew and play around with. I was doing some like samples to test product ideas, and I've had a few likes and comments on that, but it's driving those people to then interact with my store, right, and want to buy things from my store. But I think the main focus for my business won't be the ready-made items, really. The main focus will be the upcycling service, and of course that's a very personal thing, and that's something that I'm not sure how to get people feeling comfortable with interacting with me for those kinds of services. I would really like people to feel comfortable in signing up, sending me a little question or consultation form, and ideally I really like people to have a chat with me and talk about what they'd like. Maybe they've got items in their wardrobe they don't wear, or old textiles or bedding, and we can turn them into something new. And that would be so exciting to work with people on that, and that's the main part of what I want to do in this business. But of course I have so many materials myself that I decided to open up a shop and sell ready-made items, and then I have items to take to craft fairs. I have items that people can buy from me, and then they understand, oh, that's the kind of thing that she can make, that's the kind of quality of her work, and hopefully that encourages people to then do the upcycling service with me. So that's the dream. But yeah, like I said, I'm a bit nervous about launching in January. I don't want to get my hopes up, because I'm sort of expecting it to be a, hey, I've launched, and then just waiting for people to eventually realise, right? So I think I do need some items on the shop just for people to then, when I've launched, they can have things to see, things to buy. So I need to get ahead and work on those. I have been thinking about what to put on the shop and how to lay out the website. So I've started working on the website, and at the moment it's a password protected Shopify site. So just while I'm working on things in the background, it's got that waitlist sign up and my logo and countdown to when I'm launching. I've got that on there, and then in the background I'm starting to work on the layout of the actual website. So when I launch, I'll obviously take off the password and you can see the full website and hopefully buy items from me. So I've started to think about how I would lay out the website. My plan is to have the upcycling service as the main attention on the website. So when you go there, the first thing you'll see is the upcycling, because that's the bit I want to promote the most. But also having the ready-made items, the collections, the shop. I also would like to do a blog to talk about the transformations that I do. I've done a couple of transformations so far for friends, like I said, with the pre-orders. So writing some blogs on that will hopefully be nice for people to read and understand like the process behind and the story and the care and the uniqueness of the projects. I really want it to come across how like careful and thoughtful this upcycling process is. Also having a contact page and then an events page, because I do want to do markets, because I think that'll be really good for networking. So having those ready-made items at a market, but also showcasing things that I've made for myself and having conversations with people in person and giving out my details will hopefully help draw traffic to the website. So I want to have a page on there about upcoming events in case people want to come and see me. Then I want a bit about me and who I am. I find that people seem to invest in you as a person and the business. So I find that people like to invest in people, right? So somebody who owns a business who you can relate to or you like, you're more likely to buy from than a stranger. But also adding in there a bit about my values and why I started this business in the first place. I did a video on this a while ago, so check that out if you haven't watched it already. But I basically speak about why I started this business, and I'd like to put that in the website as well as a link to all my socials so people can connect with me there and see all the short content that I do and my YouTube videos as well. So I have started on the layout. It's just I don't have the photos to put on yet to showcase any items. I need some photos of me, and one of my friends is a really good photographer and she's just started her own photography Instagram. So I'll put a link to her below as well, but she's going to take some photos of me like at my sewing machine, doing some work, maybe hand stitching, things like that, so I can put that on the website as well. I also would like to get some reviews from my friends who I've given orders to already. But I'm new to the whole Shopify thing, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to get customer reviews. So I've managed to figure out how they can pay me through it, but it's then how do I get them to review what they bought? So in the process of figuring that out, and I'd like to put those reviews on the website too, just to help with that confidence of people like wanting to invest in my items when they see that other people are pleased with their items as well. I'm getting there with how I want to lay it out. It's just putting the content in and creating that at the moment. And it's balancing that content for the website with the time spent on creating social media content and the time I need to spend sewing items, the orders I've got from friends already, and Christmas is coming up. Oh, there's that little like anxious thought in my head of, am I gonna be ready? So trying to find time here and there to plan around my full-time job is very tricky, I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of work. I start work from 9 o'clock and I've been working from home a lot while I've been on some medication, which means my immune system's low. So I haven't been going into the office just to avoid catching any infections or bugs. So instead of commuting to the office, I've been doing a bit of work on the business. So I've been cutting out fabric, making sewing patterns, doing little quiet things in the morning so I don't disturb my partner, and then going to work. Then I've got a lunch break, and then the lunch break I'll do a little bit more prep work, but it's not a lot of time to sit down and do loads of sewing. That usually happens in the evenings, like now, where it's really dark, not great for filming. Please bear with me, the lighting is awful. Yes, so it's mostly been in the evenings where I've had the chance to actually sew and work on things. And obviously I'm having to balance my time with, do I work on my friends' pre-orders? Do I do stuff for the shop? Do I do Christmas presents? And obviously I've had to prioritise what I do when. I know my friends have been really kind and said like, there's no rush, you can do it whenever, but I don't want to keep them hanging for ages. And also this makes really good content for the website and for social media. So I do want to do their orders, but I know that yes, those orders are going to get me a bit of money for the business, but they're not going to help me with the shop that needs to be launched in 30 days. So I do need to get started with some samples to figure out the products that I want to do. I have been thinking about what products I want to put on the website. Obviously, it's really difficult when you don't know what's going to sell. I've never run a business like this before. I've seen what other people tend to sell and what they sew, but I don't know whether those things are popular or they make them loads of money or like why they decided to do that. So I'm trying to think of ideas whilst trying to think of what I would buy. So I've been collecting loads of fabrics and clothes and things to upcycle, and I'm just drawn to things that I like and I think are really pretty. And then I'll obviously have to just see what happens. I'll put the items on my website, take them to markets. It's only when I do that I'm going to know what's popular and what sells, and obviously it depends on where I sell it, what audience does that is there, if it's a market in person or online, what kind of people I can draw to the website. I know it's going to vary a lot, but my initial ideas, and I've marked them based on priority because I know I'm not going to have time to make everything before 10th of January. So it's prioritising what items I want to put on the shop and how many of each. I don't actually know how long it's going to take to make some of these items, because some of them I've made for myself but maybe not timed it. So I don't actually know how long it will take, and obviously that will determine how much I charge for the item, and it will determine how many I can make depending on how much time I have. So at the moment I'm thinking of putting on shoulder bags, so those crossbody shoulder bags, like the Uniqlo style of bag. That's the inspiration. I know they're quite popular at the moment, so I'm thinking of selling some shoulder bags. I can just see a lot of the materials that I have. I've got jeans, corduroy, thicker material that'll be perfect for bags. So that's the idea. Shoulder bags, scrunchies, so some medium-sized and large-sized scrunchies, because they're quite easy to make and you can sell them in bundles. So I could do like a 3 for £10 type deal on scrunchies. Bookmarks are another one. I was thinking about doing book sleeves anyway, and I think bookmarks would make a nice like complementary kind of item for the book sleeves. And if I have enough of materials, because bookmarks, you can use scraps for bookmarks, so they don't take much material at all. So maybe if I make a book sleeve, any scraps from that I could use as a bookmark, and you can have a bundle of both that are matching. So that's my other idea, because I love reading and I would love to have my own book sleeve. So another good option. Obviously you could also do the 3 for £10 on bookmarks type thing. That might not be the final price, I'm just listing it at the moment, but having those kind of like smaller items that people can buy in bulk. And then I was thinking in terms of like the scrunchies, a complementary item could be like a headband or a hair bow. So I've been thinking of like hair accessories. They seem to be quite popular as well. So smaller items like that I can make multiple of and have lots of different styles. I also thought medium priority items, I could look at things like larger bags, like tote bags or hobo style bags like I did for my sister, but they take a lot longer to make and they need a lot more material. So they're medium priority for the store. I'd like to have them there, but maybe not on launch day sort of thing. I also want to add some makeup bags. I think they'd be quite nice to do. Those look like boxy style makeup bags. So I've put them as medium priority for now because I wasn't sure how well they would sell, but I do want to make a couple of those. Also pillowcases, because I was thinking you could do like patchwork styles, or you could put like a design on the front using scraps. I quite like the idea of doing some like artwork. I was inspired from when I went to the Knit and Stitch show. I've got a video here on what I got up to while I was at the Knit and Stitch show. And I loved the scrappy cushion cover that I made at Scarlett's workshop. So I'm just thinking cushion covers are a nice like artistic flair that you could make something out of. And then I'm thinking like lower priority but would be nice to have are things like bag charms. I've never made one, but I know they're popular. And I'm thinking like little like items like maybe a heart or a flower or something small that is still relatively easy to sew that you could stuff with scraps. I have a lot of little scraps that I want to use as stuffing, and so the other idea I had, so I had the bag charms idea, but also memory bears and animals. I've had the idea of doing memory bears for a while, and I really like that idea because you could have items in your wardrobe that you're not wearing for sentimental reasons. Maybe they belonged to a family member. Maybe your child grew up and can't wear those clothes anymore and you're not sure what to do with them, but they have memories for you. So I would love to make memory bears or memory animals. And I did get a few patterns to test out making animals, but again, that's not something I've sewn before, so it's very much lower priority because I need to figure out how to sew it, if it would work, how long it would take. And obviously this will be more of a commission-based item if it's a memory item, or I could just do stuffed animals as a nice to have decoration, doorstop ornament type thing. Also looking at things like lip balm holders. I've seen quite a lot of those recently, especially on YouTube with tutorials. But you can have like these keychain lip balm holder things. I was thinking maybe I could do that, and I could use the key rings as well for bag charms. But But again, these are like lower priority items that I'm not sure if I'll do them before the shop launch. Those are the ideas, but obviously I need to start with the higher priority items. I have written down the quantities I'd like of each one. Obviously the items that take longer to make, like bags, probably less of those than the smaller items. I just need to get started, and then I can get some photos done and start to showcase these different items. I think that the hardest part is the time management. It's finding time to work on this business while having a full-time job, and Christmas is coming up. So I'm going to be out for a few days seeing family. We've got friends coming over for Christmas. So there are those days where I won't be able to work on the business very much at all. I'll take my iPad with me when I go to visit family. So obviously I can keep working on the website, I can keep working on social media content, but the sewing stuff I need to do while I'm here in my studio. And I was also ill for the last few weeks because it's winter time and I caught a cold, which my immune system decided it didn't want to get over for 2 weeks. So yeah, there's all those struggles that I'm starting to learn, and I haven't even launched the business yet. Better get on with some sewing. been a couple days and a haircut since I last spoke to you, but I just wanted to update you on where I got with my sewing. So I've been pretty busy sewing away. Like I said, I want to focus more on the sewing part while I'm at home. And I have had to balance that with items for the store and making Christmas gifts for my family. And I will be doing a video on that, so keep an eye out for that. I can't post that until after Christmas because I don't want to spoil their presents for them. Otherwise, I've been making a few bits. If you're following my social media, you've probably already seen these bits that I'm about to show. But I just want to talk through them in a bit more detail and show you a bit more about what I've done. So I've got them all like lined up here. I was trying to get like a nice shot of everything that I've done. So I've made quite a few different items. I wanted to see how things looked with different sizes of scrunchies and the different items and testing them out and checking that they work properly. Like the last thing I want is to sew something for the shop, try and sell it, and actually it doesn't work right for people. So I've gone for a range. So you can see at the front here the scrunchies. So these were, I spoke through some of the scraps that I had. I didn't end up using all the scraps because some of them I realised weren't long enough. Like to get this nice ruffled kind of look to it, you need quite a lot of fabric. So this nice green fabric, I decided to go for a large size scrunchie. I really like the size of this one. You can see it's quite a large scrunchie, but it's really soft and I really like the colours. So that one's one of my largest ones. I also had some like waffle pink left over from a project, which I will be doing a video on soon. It was a project for a friend, and there was just enough of this pink left. It was originally a cushion cover, and I realised it was exactly the right width for a large scrunchie, and I folded it in half and made it into two. So I really like the softness of the waffle pink. I know you can't tell that on a video, but I really like the colours and textures of this one. So I'm really hoping that that's a popular one. And then I thought I'd experiment with adding lace. So the second one, like I said, they were both exactly the same width. It's just this one's got some lace on the outside. And I thought that would be a really good test to see what that looked like. And I really like how it turned out. I think it just adds that extra bit of detail. So I decided to go ahead and add lace to quite a few of my samples. And then this is my largest scrunchie. I'm going to call this like an extra large. And I don't think I'll make many of these just because they are quite big. So it's about 4 times larger than a normal scrunchie. And it's just because the material that I had, it was like just a rectangle. I didn't realise the scrap was exactly a rectangle. So I thought I'm not going to change the dimensions. I'm just going to sew it as is and see what it turns out like. And it's, like I said, it's quite a large one, but I think it's really nice. Like it's a thicker material, but it's not too thick. And I think if you've got really thick hair, this one would work quite well. So I'm going to sell that as an extra large scrunchie. So those are the extra large and then the 3 large ones. I then made quite a few different medium ones. So these would be like slightly bigger than a regular scrunchie. So I went for quite a few lace and then a few without lace. This is probably my favourite one out of everything I've sewn up, just because I really like the combination of the colour with the lace, with like the gingham. And like that worked really well. I'm hoping this is going to be quite a popular one as well. But this is just, I can see this going with lots of outfits, and it's like a nice, pretty but neutral. This one I also really like. It's a very different material. It's already got like some texture to it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, the texture on that. But I really, with the lace especially, I think that one's really pretty. This one was, again, a nice thicker canvasy material, but I really like the green checks, so I had to put that with some lace. I just couldn't not do that, right? I just had to see what it looked like, and I really like that one. This one is material that actually came from a top that I made, so I'll put a picture up of the top that I made for the summer. And I knew it was a really light, soft material, so I thought that would make a really nice, light, soft scrunchie. This is material from some trousers. So I found these really beautiful trousers at a clothes swap, and I thought I'd test, because it's 100% viscose, it's quite drapey. So I thought I'd test what that looks like in a scrunchie, and you can tell like it's a lot drapier. If you look at the canvas one here, this holds its shape a lot more than this one. And I had some green lace, so I thought I'd test that out, and I actually really like it. It's really soft, and I think that would look quite nice in someone's hair. So that was that one. I have actually made another item with this fabric, so I'll show you that in a moment. And then I had some leftover fabric from a bed sheet. So I actually made a blouse out of a bed sheet a while ago, and there was a strip in the bed sheet. When I unpicked it, there was just like this one long strip that obviously been sewn on as extra to make the right length. And so I took that strip, cut it in half, and made 2 medium scrunchies out of it. I didn't add any lace to these, but I've realised I've got a lot of unique scrunchies here, and I might as well have 2 of the same pattern, so because I had enough, right? So those are those 2. So those were all my medium-sized scrunchies, 7 of those. And then I went for some, I would call these like regular-sized scrunchies or small scrunchies. These are the size of scrunchie I normally wear in my hair. So I thought I'd go for a range of different colours. So I had this like leafy green, and this is something that I've also used in another sample, as you can see back there. So this is from one pillowcase. So I had some left over from making that item to make some scrunchies. So I went for one without lace and one with lace, and I think I prefer the one with the lace. I think that's a little bit prettier. So I've got those options there. And then went for a plain dark green. This also was a pillowcase, but I really like that colour. Like, I would probably keep that if it wasn't something to go on the shop, and I think I have enough left to make another one for myself. So, and then I thought, I've got a lot of greens. This is quite a nice collection actually, these 3 greens. So I went for some purples. So this one is quite a light purple with some polka dots. You can't really see the polka dots unless you're looking closely, but I thought that was quite nice. This used to be a bed sheet. And I think this one was also a bed sheet, but it was already cut up a little bit, so I can't remember. But it's a purple, and if you look very closely, you might be able to see some flowers on there. So these I thought were some quite nice little lilac-y purple. So that's my regular or small scrunchies. And then I thought I'd make some extra small scrunchies. So I had some dark brown pillowcase left over from when I made a blouse. So I thought I'd make a little mini one, so that's a lot smaller. And then I thought I'd go for another neutral one, and I made another light brown, and this was also a pillowcase. There's a theme here. So this one I really like. This is probably one of my favourites as well. So I've got those two mini-sized ones as well to like finish out the sizing. So I have that range then of different sizes of scrunchies, because I also don't know what people will want to buy. And I quite like the larger ones because you can see more of the pattern, and then it's quite nice to have as like a nice style accessory in your hair. So moving on to the bigger items that you can see, I already mentioned this one with the leaves. So this was an iPad case that I made, and this will be going on the shop, but I will be putting it on for a discount because when I sewed up the label, I don't know if you can see, the label's kind of, I don't know how to describe that, but the label's been like maybe partly taken away by the iron, because I didn't realise I'm not supposed to go that hot with the iron on these labels. So I'll put that on for a discount just because it's slightly faulty, but otherwise it's really nice. It fits an iPad. Mine's I think it's like a 12.9 inch iPad, and it fits perfectly, like really snugly. So if you've got one of those or smaller, this will be absolutely perfect. It's like a little sleeve, and then the pocket on the front, you could add like your charging cable or headphones or something to the front. So this was a sample that I made, just testing out. I don't think I'll make too many of these for the shop because they were a little bit involved, and I'm not sure how popular those will be. So this will be the only one coming to the store. I'm not going to make any more of these for the launch day. And then I made this book sleeve. So this material was left over from when I made some dungarees. They were like the most fun dungarees I've ever made. So I had some of this material and then another green pillowcase for the inside. And I made this like book sleeve with like a cover on the outside. So what you put your book in here, it's like a standard, I think it's A5 sized book. I've measured out my books and a few journals, and they all fit really nicely. And then I've put a few slots in the side, so you could put like a bookmark or a ruler and a pen. And then I've got a button close on it. So you put your book in, then you close it up, and there's a bit of elastic, and you just put it round onto the button, and then that's closed up. Now I wasn't entirely sure about the elastics, so I think going forwards the samples that I make will have the like tie straps instead. But yes, this was another sample that's coming to the store. And then I've got this makeup bag. So this was the same as this scrunchie, the same material, the same pair of trousers. So that's one trouser leg that's now gone because of the scrunchie and then the makeup bag. But yeah, this one is really nice and soft and really pretty. I used like a diamond quilting effect on this one. And I've had so this pink zip came from the same cushion cover as these scrunchies. So yeah, reusing really well there. So I took the whole zip off and used it for the makeup bag. And on the inside, it's the same green material as this scrunchie. So from the same pillowcase. So yeah, that worked out really well actually. So yeah, this was the first time I'd made like a boxy makeup bag, and I was testing out the dimensions, and I quite like this one actually. So I think I might make them slightly wider. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you like the size of this one, or do you think they should be a little bit wider? I think I'm limited by the size of zips that I had for some of them, but it works really well, and I like the little zipper pulls that I've added to the side. So hopefully people like these. I might make a couple more makeup bags and a couple more book sleeves. out of different materials that I've got, but it does depend on how much time I have. This means I have 21 products to go on the store, which I think is a really good amount for launch, but I want to make sure I have extra just in case. I don't know how popular the shop's going to be. I think I won't make any more scrunchies because there's quite a few here. Like I said, a couple more makeup bags, a couple more book sleeves, but I also had some other ideas that I spoke about before that I might try and do. So at the moment I'm busy making Christmas gifts for my family. I'm going to prioritise the Christmas gifts, then sew some more samples, but excitingly I had an order arrive. I really love Vinted. It's like one of the best places to buy secondhand materials from people, and I found some really good finds on there. So I've got a nice pile of stuff here that I found on Vinted, and it includes things like this webbing for bags. I usually find it quite hard to find this kind of stuff, but there was some brown and some green. Obviously that matches my brand perfectly, but also some of this cotton brown, and I really liked that. So I think I got about 3 meters of each. I'm not sure how much I'll need to make bags, and I'm hoping to make like one of those shoulder bag samples for the shop, and I might use one of these, but I also want to experiment with a fabric strap to see what that looks like. But these will come in really handy. And along the same lines of bag making, I found these buckles. Now these I usually find quite hard to find, but these are buckles that you can use on bags to help them be adjustable. They were also selling 5 D-rings, so that I can use those for the adjustable straps as well, so I could use them together because they're the same width. I know they're slightly different colours, but I haven't got many D-rings, and I like that these were metal as well, so those there. And then the same person was selling some like replacement ink bit. These are the pens that disappear when you use heat on them, and I use these all the time for measuring out stuff on fabric. So there's so many refills in here. So luckily I didn't have to go out and buy a new pen, I could just use refills. And then all the rest of this stuff, there was a lady selling, I think it was just like jewellery pieces, she said, but I looked at it and they could be used for making items for my store. So there were bits like these little clasps that I could use for little tiny like key rings and stuff. Different sizes of keyring loops as well. So these would be really handy if I want to try and make some bag charms or lip balm holders. I thought I'd try out the different sizes that she was selling, and yeah, they look really handy. But also lobster clips. So again, oh, there you go, some of them are falling out already. So if I'm thinking about doing bag charms or lip balm holders, I think lobster clips might be really helpful. And there's quite a few here, so see how long that lasts me. And then she also had loads of pins, and my pins tend to get very bent very quickly, and they're also plastic, so you can't use an iron near them. And these are all metal pins, so I can iron over them, I don't have to worry, and they're a bit larger than the ones I've already got. So very handy. If you're in the UK, I definitely recommend going on Vinted to buy secondhand material, because very, very helpful. I've had a very nice productive week this week. I think I was very nervous about the fact I didn't have any products ready for my shop, and that had been like working away at the back of my mind. I was so anxious about that, and the fact that I've just like knuckled down and sewn a few samples and I've got about 18 products ready for the store, it's just like a weight off my shoulders. I know there are more things that I want to do. So just looking at my list, I still want to make a sample shoulder bag, because those are things that I really want to make some bags to put on the shop, and I want to have a range of items to showcase what I can do, and having some bags is something that I really want on there. So I want to make a shoulder bag, I just know that's going to take a little bit longer. I also want to make a bunch of bookmarks to go with the book sleeves, so they're kind of like a little bundle, and maybe some hair bows as well to go with the scrunchies. It would be nice if I had some of the same material that I've already used, if I've got enough, so I can have like some matching things. I think that'd be quite nice. Obviously when I make these things, I will put them on my social medias, so if you aren't already following me on my social media, the links are all in the description, and I'll post everything I make on there so you can see the kind of things that will come into the shop. and there's still a wait list open. So if you are interested in any of the products that I've shown you today, any of the, the scrunchies or items that I've shown, if you pop onto my website, links in the description, you can then sign up to the wait list and you'll get an email notification when the shop opens, and you'll get 10% off your first order. And there's still some places open for a free gift. I'm giving a free item to the first 50 people who sign up with their first order. So that's still available. Check it out in the description. But otherwise, please follow me on my social medias to see everything that I do, because I post lots of reels and short clips. Obviously, these YouTube videos are very helpful for showing more in depth and explaining more of my thought process and seeing more behind the scenes of how this actually works, rather than just short clips that are made for social media. Otherwise, there are a few other items on here, like bag charms and tote bags and things that I've been thinking of that I might not do straight away. It does depend how much time I've got, because obviously it's less than 30 days now until I launch, and I've got Christmas coming up, I've got birthday coming up, so there are things that are going to obviously impact how much time I have to spend sewing, working on the launch. And I also need to get my website going. Now that I've sewn up these items, I can now start to take photos of them and I can get those up on the website. I think I'm going to wait until I've sewn up a few more samples and do like a bulk photography session. So getting the help of, because my partner's got a professional camera, and I've got some light diffusers and some lights and things. So when he's available, I'm hoping we can sit down together and we can just bulk take loads of photos, set up a nice background with some plants and just go for it with putting all the different items in and lining them up and doing them all in one go. And then when I've got those photos ready, I can put them on the website, start to think about how I'm going to do the descriptions. Although I could probably do the descriptions now, but I think, again, doing it in bulk is going to be a lot easier with like putting all the listings up. And then I still need to do the other parts of the website, like a bio section about me and a few other, like maybe some blog posts. And so there's those admin things I also need to do. As for this week, I think that's been really good, really productive, and I'm really happy with what I've achieved. And it's just, like I said, a weight off my shoulders and a bit more relieved now. And I can go into Christmas and finish making the Christmas presents, and when I go home to see family, and not be thinking in the back of my mind, oh, I've still got so many things to do. I want to relax and spend time with my family. I'm hoping to do more of this kind of vlog where you see, like, this was like a week in my life. Like I said, I work full time, so a week in my life is more like a few hours in my life. But hopefully this gives you more of an impression as to what goes on behind the scenes and was interesting to watch anyway. If you enjoyed watching this vlog, please let me know and give me a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm hoping to do more videos, like more vlogs, showing you more in-depth sewing videos with how I'm making stuff. And it's just a bit of fun to show you how I'm getting on. Obviously, this is a business I'm running on my own, so it's really nice to share it with you and to see your comments. So if you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. Let's pop a frazzled emoji in the comments, just because that seems to have been the vibe of this vlog, is me, what do I do? I haven't got long. So that would be appreciated. And please do like and hype this video so it reaches more people. It really does help, and it really does support me and my new channel. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.